good day, happy day. We about to get it in. Where to get it in, so we about to get it in. Good morning, and thank you for coming to my channel. Wherever you are, I hope you are having a blessed day. And pretty much, once again, welcome. This channel is kind of a new switch on the channel I had before that I was building, which was really politically driven. But I think in this climate, I'm not going to be really talking about politics. Right now, those things are very divisive. I believe. I'm ready to get more so into the motivation side of things and sharing the things on my journey that I think will help other people. So you can see in the description of this video, I have put the timestamp of where I'm going to be talking about directly on how I lost 30 pounds within 1 month. But I'm going to be talking about the process that led up to me getting to over 280 pounds, and exactly how I lost it, but more importantly, how I got there. So I hope in this video you'll find some motivation. Once again, like, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be talking about my fitness journey, but it's not just my journey on fitness. It's about shedding weight, baggage, inside and out. I'll be talking about many topics from real estate to music and life, social issues, but I'm going to try my best to keep it attached to my fitness journey. I'm still on my journey. I've lost over 30 pounds so far this year, and I've got a ways to go to get to what I'm trying to do, and this will document that. So let's get right into it. I was actually growing up always a very thin child. In fact, my nickname was Tiny Man. What? I was always skinny, and my cousin was always the chubby boy back then. And my great grandmother would always make fun of us because we were like freaking frat. We always hung out together. We were best cousins, best of friends. And she would sing this song, "Fat and skinny went to bed, fat woke up and skinny was dead." And it never really bothered him or either of us, but that was just saying what the dynamic was. I was always a skinny child, and I was always even, thinner and slim in high school. When I grew up, got out of high school, I got really involved in the entertainment industry. I had a professional recording studio, commercial recording studio. I had a record label. I had artists. I'm a musician, so I was producing artists and all that fun stuff. At the same time, I was blocking a personal social dynamic, which I'll get into another time, of myself, and I was completely just involved in only my business and my music. Outside of that, other things did not exist. So the more busy I got in music, I had begun to gain weight. Back then. One thing me and my cousin would do together, which it didn't start catching up with me until I was grown up, we would actually eat. We would go to this Chinese restaurant up the street, and we would stuff it was a Chinese buffet. We would either eat till we felt like we were gonna throw up, I don't know what was going on with us, or we would stuff our to-go plate to where we would have to get a rubber band to close it. And it was just kind of fun and stupid and silly, but this is what we were doing. So it got so bad, the Asian people that ran the place, they started having smaller to-go boxes, and we thought they did that for us. So we would steal like oh, well, I'm going to stuff it anyway. So they would get mad that we could hardly close our to-go plate as we would leave the Chinese. But
just go home, don't come back.
You know, it was habits like that. I was also really involved in the church. I was a young minister of music at the church I went to, and we would be at choir rehearsal and church every Sunday and Bible study. And one of our things that we would do, me and my cousin and my auntie, we would actually, after we left choir rehearsal, whatever, we'd go out to eat. It was like a thing. A McDonald's, a Jack in a Box, a sit down something, you know, just cultural things. But me being involved in business and being involved in church, I was not necessarily aware that I was gaining all of this weight. No one brought it to my attention. And the thing is, I wasn't dealing with people in a dynamic where that would be an issue. You know, I wasn't, you know, involved in dating and trying to hook up with the right person and spit game and all those type of things at that time were foreign to me. So as I put on all this weight, eventually I did meet someone. And this particular person's presence in my life opened my eyes to a world of things that showed I existed outside of church and my entertainment business and things like that, that I could actually deal with, and there would be other people in the world that I mattered to besides those things, other social dynamics that I was not engaging in. They opened my eyes to that, you know, and, you know, they showed me that I think I had got to 280 pounds then too. I had to be like 23, 24, whatever. They showed me that, look, this ain't cool. And we became great friends, and we would actually meet up at the track to go running on this football track. And in no time, I lost all this weight that I had put on, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't even know that I had gained all this weight. And when I lost weight this time, as now operating as an adult, and exploring the world outside of business and just the church, I became aware of now what I was operating with in terms of dealing with other people. I started to receive attention and in a different way that I liked, you know. And then of course I became much more health conscious and aware of the things that are connected with obesity, you know, and being fit, you know, all those things changed. So that went on for a while, and you know, as life has its vicissitudes, you know, the ups and downs and changes, eventually I would find myself much more in the future, in my 30s, in the vicissitudes of life, where things would go down. And when the tough gets going, I'm one of those that the going gets tough. So amid financial downfall and all sorts of things, I began to dive real heavy again into business, to where nothing actually kind of mattered for the most part but that. You know, I got into real estate and trying to learn different things of real estate. How can I acquire property with no money and no credit? And I begun to do so. You know, that was my focus. That was the getcha gotcha. And I made other friends and all that kind of stuff. At this point in my life, I don't live in California anymore. I was living in a whole other state, you know, and a whole different group of people and different atmosphere and all that stuff. So once again, I started diving into that, and I began to gain a whole lot of weight again. But at this time, I'm an adult, and things mattered more so now at this time than they did before, in terms of, lonesomeness and dating and intimacy and all those other things, that material things that I was getting with business could not fill, and I had gotten up to that 280 pounds. And I began to have issues in terms of my health. I got to the point to where I could hardly be able to even walk. It would be getting up physically was a chore. So people who weigh more than got over their weight in the 300s and 350s and 400s, my God, I can only imagine. 280 was still a lot. And it put a lot of pressure on my ankles and my knees. And sometimes they would swell so much to where I would be out of commission and couldn't even walk for a week or even two, because of the inflammation that would, as a result of all of that. Then as I gained all of my things back economically and ended up acquiring 3 properties, my finances changed and all those things were good. Now you see how much these material things mean nothing because there's no one to share them with or whatever, right? And when you are, this time I was aware of my weight gain. I could see it. I could see it in the mirror. I could not wear clothes. I could hardly walk. It did not like the way it was making my skin look and all those other things. And depression began to seep in, and depression is really bad, because with depression, there are things you do to find temporary feel-goods. For some people, those things are drugs. Some people, it's alcohol abuse. Some people, it's, a whole lot of things, and the addiction comes from the fact those temporary things, those temporary stimulants, releases dopamine through your brain that are the feel-good chemicals, that give you that rush of feel-good at that time. In addition to being busy, the food that I was eating, the fast food, because I was too busy trying to rebuild my finances, running back and forth and no stability and all that kind of stuff like that, was one of those feel-good things. It felt good to take a break a little bit and go out with my friend, and we go to the steakhouse or we go to McDonald's real quick, and then they'd have those specials, 2 for $3, 2 hamburgers for just like $3, double cheeseburgers, and then of course you're gonna have a drink, and you get a large Coke because it's only $1 despite the size, and not realizing you ate a bazillion calories, but it was a feel-good moment. Then you might do it a second time that same day. You might snack in between and you might eat something else, or then you find yourself at home by yourself and you're like, shoot, I ain't nothing going on. I'm gonna watch me a good movie and I'm gonna order me some takeout. And you order a Philadelphia cheesesteak with the chicken wings that come with it, and it feels good in that moment. It blocks the fact that you are unhappy at that second because it's releasing a feel-good chemical to your brain. And then you go back to it for the more feel-good. And then the problem is that it's doing damage to your body, because it's just like drugs or anything else. Those temporary feel-goods bring about damage. And it increases the depression because you're now upset at yourself for what you're doing and you still don't like what you have done to yourself. The next part of this is why it is important to have people in your life that truly care about you. It's very important to build your circle with the right comrades, the right people that support you, love you, and believe in you. So the same friend that I talked about from a zillion years ago when I was in my 20s had come back. We'd always been still friends, had come into town to visit and hadn't seen me at this point in a minute. And when they got there, they were kind of shocked, upset, and disappointed, and made it very clear that they're like, what's going on? This isn't you. Like, this isn't us. This isn't what we run track on the football field. Like, what has happened? And they're also from California, and they're not familiar with my friends and stuff that are out here, which I have good friends. But he immediately began to like, what have you allowed these people to do to you? Like, what have you become? This isn't you. Just one of those things when it's someone from home. My attitude was funky at the time, all sorts of stuff because of my state of mind and depression. And what he did do was get me on the roll, get me on the start. We woke me up, we hit the track a couple times, and put my mind back in place. So, what I did to lose the first 30 pounds in 1 month. Remember I said I could hardly walk, so running, when I would try to run, because of the weight, immediately my feet would swell up and start hurting and I wouldn't be able to do anything, but the thing is, you've got to do something. So I took some money and I went to Walmart and I bought me a bike. I figured a bike would be fun, kind of. And I knew that it would take pressure off of my joints because it was a smooth motion. So I got a bike. And when I got the bike, I'll be honest, even then it was still pressure on my ankles and knees and stuff like that, but nowhere near as the impact of trying to jog or run or jump or anything like that. And I noticed immediately I started to get that sensation where things were about to swell up. So what I did this time was I went and I got a bucket that I could put ice into. So I would get on my bike and I would ride my bike as far as I could go to just start moving, and then I would come back and I would put my feet in the ice bucket to stop the swelling from appearing the next morning, and it worked. Eventually, my other best friend, he got a bike, so it was good to have a partner now. Now we're riding a bike together. And once again, the company you keep. You want people around you of like mind, right? So we started riding together. He didn't ride as much as I did, but we started riding, and that was still support and encouragement. Eventually, things began to change. The riding that bike became easier. While I'm riding the bike, I began to change my diet. I started operating more in a keto diet. Pretty much means the absence of all your carbs. You want to eat as low carbs as possible. So I removed all the breads, I removed all the sugars, I removed all the rice and starch and all those kind of things. And the reason why I do keto is because if you like food, as I do, and most people, keto is not hard. You can eat things like fish. You can have a steak. You can grill you some ribs if you want to. You could have some sausage and eggs for breakfast in the morning. Now, you can't have that biscuit, and you can't have that roll with the steak or, baked potato, but you can have steak and you can season some broccoli and you can do all sorts of things where you'll enjoy what you're eating. We even did a crab boil, and all these things are keto. So I started eating keto and I increased my water intake. And I started doing the bike every single day. It would hurt. My back would hurt, my knees would hurt, my ankles would hurt. But every day, and the keto every day. And I bought a scale. I think a scale is important for people to get because you can actually watch your progress. And as you watch your progress, it's going to keep holding you accountable. You want to go hard because you want to see them ounces and pounds come off as quickly as possible. So what I do, other people don't suggest it, but I actually get on the scale every morning because I want to see did what I do yesterday take effect. And then if it didn't, what did I do yesterday that may have slowed it down, you know? So eating keto, riding my bike every day, and then making keto fun. I know how to make keto keto waffles. I can make bread keto, all 0 carbs. I make these things. And I cook really well. So I enjoy the food that I make, and I'm now increasing my cardio. So the bike, boom, 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 boom. Once I lost the first 10 pounds, you can feel it immediately, and things begin to ease up on my joints and my knees and all that kind of stuff. Now, I know that the pushing of that real cardio is to really get on them feet and to really start that jogging and that running, you know? So I started to jog. I could hardly move still at that point, you know, but I could move a little. You could probably walk faster, and then I was jogging. But the pain, the being spent. There is no gain with no pain. You have to work. It's not supposed to be easy. Nothing is easy. If it was easy, everyone would get everything. Everything that, that requires some change requires sacrifice. So it would hurt. And I would still do the same thing with the ice bucket. But it got easier. And it got easier. And my goal was 2-a-days. I would do some workout in the morning, and I would do some at night. I would either go try to jog around the track. Sometimes I would ride my bike and jog, and sometimes I just kept it going every day, right? And then I started doing Insanity at night on YouTube, some exercises and things of that nature. I couldn't do the jumping jacks. I could not jump up and down. So I was doing the modified. I would bend up and down instead of jumping up and down. I would move side to side instead of actually doing jumping jacks, but I was moving. Now, as you can see in my intro video, I'm doing high knees, I'm doing jumping jacks, I'm doing push-ups, I'm riding my bike for miles. I did a walk yesterday of at least 7 or 8 miles, I am putting it in. And because I went keto, because I started drinking my water, and because of those decisions, that's how I lost 30 pounds within 1 month. That is the truth. One thing that's important though, even with keto, I have myself on a reward program. People have cheat meals or cheat days. I do cheat meals. However, I don't do them like on the weekend or whatever. I only give myself a cheat meal if I earn it. So for me, every 10 pounds to my goal, I reward myself with something nice. One of my cheat meals was I got a bake, the cookies that you bake, the Pillsbury. I got one Pillsbury cookie, and I cut it so it could bake and be soft and gooey. And I got a scoop of ice cream. It was peach cobbler ice cream I saw at the store. And I put a scoop on that in the cookie, and that was my cheat meal for one day. And even then, I made sure to work it off that same night. Then I would have a sweet tooth every now and then. Sometimes that happens, because you're coming off, if you do have withdrawals, when you are completely switching your diet from all the horrible crap, sugar and soda and all that kind of stuff, and hamburgers and all them horrible things that you were addicted to, it is withdrawals. So when my friend would have like a Coca-Cola or something, or sometimes I would ask him to go buy me one. He went to the store one day and he brought me a 2-liter of Coca-Cola. I poured me 1 glass of this Coca-Cola with the ice. And it tastes just like heaven. It tastes like crack. And it was so good. I enjoyed that 1 glass, and I poured the rest of it down the toilet. It's another thing to make sure you do not have things around you that will cause you to backslide. And you want to be around people that are, they're going to help you too. You don't want to be around other crackheads. Crackheads don't help crackheads get off crack because they break together. You know, my other friend is at least health conscious, you know, so, you know, he's a supporter. He's one of my, he helps me keep going, you know. So we don't put bad stuff in the house. I don't have, you know, cereal and sugar and candy or whatever, you know, and we're both on a, you know, he's trying to get ripped and all that kind of stuff too. So that helps. So that's how I lost 30 pounds within 1 month. I'm over that now. I've lost more than that at this point, you know, closer towards 40 pounds. For me, it's 40 more pounds to go. And in the process, I'm trying to get ripped with it. You know, and I'm going to share all that as well. Once again, thank you for visiting my channel. I hope I've shared some light. You know, you can do it. Consistency is key. Once you start forcing yourself past that hard part where you don't want to get out of bed, once you force yourself past the pain, it's going to hurt in the beginning. Once you get that and you start getting them little rewards on the way, the consistency becomes much easier. It becomes less hard, and it becomes more of a desire at the same time. You know, so continue to dream, continue to believe, and as always, keep on growing. Peace.